Hey everyone, welcome to my crafty space. I'm so glad you're here today. Grab a cup of coffee or your favorite drink or pull out your crafting supplies because this is one of those fun, cozy videos where you can just sit back, we're going to be together and we're going to hang for a bit. As we wrap up 2025, I thought it would be a really fun to look back at the top 10 most viewed videos of the year as voted by you, and these were definitely all picked by you. Your views, your likes and your comments help shape the list. So what makes it extra special to me is you. It's honestly amazing to see which projects, layouts and crafty moments you all connected with the most. Some of these videos surprised me. Some of them brought back really good memories, and a few reminded me of why I love sharing this creative journey with you. So whether you've been here all year or you're new to my channel, this is a great way to revisit some of those favorites and discover something that you might have missed. Let's get comfy, let's relax and enjoy a little crafty rewind of 2025 together. Thanks for your votes, thanks for your views, and keep coming back because you know 2026 will have a whole lot more. So let's get started. I wonder if yours is the one that is number one. Hey crafty friends, it's Kathy here, and today I'm starting something new which was old than I did before. I'm doing a 5 for 5 recipe. That's right, I'm using this sketch and I'm going to do it 5 different ways, but I also need to use pattern paper, Nuvo drops, stamping and fussy cutting on each of these layouts. So the first one I'm going to do, well actually it's not the first one, it's the last one. This is the one that I'm going to do with you, but I have already done 4 others and you have to stay through to the end to see them. So what I'm doing is I'm using this Vicky Bouton beautiful flower emporium. You know I love it. I love anything VB, and this one in particular is just stunning. So I'm going to create my layout today following that sketch as you saw it at the beginning in the original position. Now I have done it 4 other times where I've rotated it, and flipped it. So you'll see that at the end. So make sure you stay right through to the end to see. Now, each of the times I do this, I must use the pattern paper, which I'm obviously doing right here and you can see. Then I also need to do some fussy cutting, I need to use some Nuvo drops, and I need to do some stamps. That's just the formula for my 5 for 5. Now, if you want to be part of my 5 for 5, and I really hope that you do, if you check out my Facebook page, you can go there and see the sketch plus the formula, and I would love for you to share there so that next month I can showcase your brilliance at the end of my video when I do next month's. Alright, so here comes my fussy cutting element part of this layout. I'm going to use this circle down here at the bottom of this page. I do love this page with the circles. I think it's fantastic, and I love our craft. It's the only craft in the world where you get a fantastic piece of paper, you cut it apart, and then you put it back all together. Well, I'm fussy cutting around this circle, so it's not a great amount of fussy cutting happening on this layer, but it's still there, and you can see that I fussy cut that circle out. Now I will also be fussy cutting a little bit more further with that in a moment. So I've taken this page as well because I absolutely love these cards. I can tell you this is just the most gorgeous 49er market, and the quality, as you know, with 49 market, outstanding. And the colors for Vicky Bouton, these are muted, but I love them anyway. So I'm using 2 photos on this layout as per the sketch, and they are of my daughter. She was taking selfies in the bathroom at a place where we went out for coffee, and it is so true. Toilet selfies are a thing, apparently so. So here she is taking her toilet selfie, and I am just going to use these cards that I just cut out, and I'm going to use them as my matching for my photo. And I am fussy cutting the corners there with my blade, and that's another element of fussy cutting on my layout today. So I'm going to tuck those in there like photo mounts, and my photos will sit on that, and I will go back and I will adhere it into place so that it doesn't move. I'm going to repeat the process with the blue, and I'm just going to put the second photo in on that one as well. So the fussy cutting is with my blade, and it is going around those beautiful what would you call them, corners, decorative corners, and I'm just putting my photos together like that. So I've got the bit of fussy cutting happening right along. Now I do think about what I'm going to do with that circle, and I will come back and you will see in a little while how I adapt that. Now here's where I make a mistake, everybody. Hello, I cut this as my piece for the panel on the layout, and then I went, oh no, I need that blue circle for the bottom part, so I cut it out of the piece that I was using as my panel, and I go halfway through it and then I realize, I've made that mistake, what a shame. So I have to go and get another piece, but that's okay. Lucky, because I own so much of this paper because I just love it. I actually overbought, I think, but that's okay, can never have enough VB. All right, I am putting onto this part of the paneling some stitched hearts. So what I've done here is I've drawn it in with pencil first. I have put in the holes, and I'm now going to stitch in with cross stitch the heart, and I'm just going to put this up the side of this panel just for some extra decorative appeal to the layout, some more texture. And I just thought that, well, grids actually tend to lend themselves to some cross stitching, so every time I get a nice grid paper that I can work with, I tend to add a bit of cross stitching in there, and I just love how these hearts come out in the end. So I am stitching, as you can see. This first one I actually go and fix it better off camera, and you will see it when I show you in a moment, because I actually underestimated the width properly and it looked a bit funny, so I thought I would better fix it. So I've done my layout to here, and it would have worked if I left it there, but I wanted a bigger heart, so I went one more, and it looked a bit funny, so I then went back and added in the extra stitches to fix it. So it would have been fine, but I ended up making it bigger. So on the back is my washi tape where I hold my thread down. That's a good invention for washi tape. And then when I turn this over, you can see that I've done those hearts in 3 colors. I've done them in white, I've done them in the blue, and I've done them in the brown. And that's to pick up the photo colors and also to create that texture field on the layout. I am just laying this down on a piece of 12 by 12 white paper that I have, that was, you know, an album filler sheet. And I don't know about you, I have lots of those lying around, and they're perfect for when you want to build a 12 by 12 layout from different pieces. So I've got that square there, and this is where I realized that I had cut out that wrong piece, and so I had to go and cut a new one, and you can see it in there with the stripes. So now I have the basis of this layout in play. I can put my photos in and then build and embellish. Now, as I said, this is something I used to do a long time ago. I used to do a 5 ingredient thing where I followed 5 ingredients to create the layout 5 different ways. And so one of the ingredients is always the sketch. So this sketch is very versatile, and it's from Mayuki, and I love her sketches. She is just one of the best creators. I just love her sketches. They are so versatile and very easy to work. And her work from what she does from a sketch is amazing. If you've ever seen any of her work, you can find some on Pinterest, but scrapbook.com, she has a whole gallery, and it's just amazing. You really do need to go and check it out. So I fussy cut that inner circle there on that top piece again, so that's some more fussy cutting happening, and that allowed it to hook over to the top, and it looks like a double layer there, which gives that extra little bit of interest to the layout. And I love how this is coming together. All right, now I'm going to use the thicker stickers from the collection, and at first I thought I was going to do bloom from within, but then I read further down, and I thought, you know what, she is on her phone, which she always is on her phone. I went, hey you, which is her, and then I've got dream big, because I always encourage my children to dream big. If you don't have a dream in life, you sort of stagnate. So I always tell them to dream big. Now I want to embellish it. So I'm sorry, you're going to just see me go through all of these lovely, lovely collectibles that are part of this collection. And I'm just going to sort them into different things that I may or may not be able to use on this layout. I am pulling out some hearts, I'm pulling out some foliage, I'm pulling out some flowers. I do pull out the word phrases, but I end up not using them. I end up putting them back. For whatever reason, they just didn't fit on the layout, or I wasn't happy with them. I am putting the butterflies to the side until I'm happy with the one that I choose in the end. As I said, it's a matter of eliminating. One thing about 49er Market, they are not stingy in their packets. They are amazing, the amount of extra pieces you get to add to your layouts. So well worth it. Yes, they are a bit expensive if you're on a budget, but you know what, if you get the whole lot, you are going to make so many pages, and they're going to be so beautiful, so that you can't go wrong. 49er Market, I do believe I have been converted. I think it's going to become a staple in my collections. All right, so I'm just choosing the 3 colors that match the rest of the layout. I've chosen a whole lot of foliage and florals that I'm going to put onto this. I'm just going to layer them out and audition them, find out where they best fit on this page. I do love the color combination. It is just so subtle. It's picking up all the colors in the photo. Her shirt is done through the pinky colors, the blue in the tiling and so forth, the brickwork, the yellow in the lighting. And I just love how this is coming together. What do you think? Is it coming together nicely? Would you think that it all blended well, or have I missed the mark? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd really like to hear. So there it is coming together, and now I need to do that extra element of stamping. So I'm just going to put some text stamping around, just to build up more of that text which you see in the top left hand corner of that paper, and also on the paper behind on the panel. So I'm carrying through that concept all the way across this layout, and I am putting it in, well, it's not really, well, I'm trying to make it look random, but it is sort of strategic as well, so that it balances out across the layout and it's not just in one spot. And I have not put it onto a block because I like the idea of rolling it and it not being perfect. So there's my stamping completed for this layout. Now I have done fussy cutting, I've got pattern papers, I've done my stamping, and now I need to add in my Nuvo drops, and here they are. I'm using these silver ones here, and I'm just putting them into the 3 strategic places, creating that visual triangle, and there you go. That was how that sketch came to life. Really easy, nice and simple. I added the stitching. You don't have to. I just wanted that extra texture on it. There's the original sketch. This is the layout I created in the original position. So now let's just go and check out where I have rotated it twice, and this is the layout I created using that one. You can see the stitch stenciling, oh god, not even stenciling, sorry, stamping. You can see Nuvo drops, you can see the fussy cutting, because I fussy cut that actual middle panel on this one so that I can include all the foliage down the side. All those foliage pieces are fussy cut on the side. They are part of the main paper and they just fit in nicely. This one here, I rotated it once, and this is how it's turned out. I love this page. I just think it's stunning. I fussy cut all those little pieces. There you can see I've stamped on it with my stitched circles, and I have used Nuvo drops, of course, as per the sketch, and then I have done it this way. So you can see how versatile this whole sketch can be done. Each time I manipulated the sketch, it gives a different look and a different feel. Your paper's always determined. I went with a hexagon up there at the top instead of a circle, showing you that you can adapt the elements on the layout to create your feel, your need. I've got the stamping there, I've got the fussy cut flowers, I've got the pattern paper, and I have Nuvo drops on this one as well. And of course this one here, I flipped it and I made it into a masculine feel. So this one here, I fussy cut out the cogs and the clocks and the nuts and the bolts, and I stamped in, I put in that tab there that I fussy cut out of the paper, And this is just how it's come together. And this is my son on his birthday with his Jeep. He loves his Jeep. He's so excited about his Jeep. So there you go. And once again, back to today's layout, where I've just taken a sketch verbatim, and I hope that I've inspired you to get creative. Now, if I have, go over to my Facebook page. I will have the sketch there. I will have the list of ingredients that you need to do, and over the next 3 weeks I want you to have a go. Please have a go with 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 if you're game. And in my next one next month, I will showcase your brilliance. I love sharing people's work. I love looking at how people interpret sketches, and I can't wait to see people playing along. Here it is up and close and personal, so that you can see today's beautiful layout come together with that amazing 49er Market flower emporium. I just love it. What do you think? Hopefully I've earned a hype. Hopefully I've earned a thumbs up, and I hope you come back next month with the next episode of 5 ingredients, 5 layouts from one sketch, 5 different ways. That's a wrap for today. Here's my next video for you. Stay creative, friends, and I really appreciate you watching. Have a great week. Catch you real soon. Wow, Sunday again. Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and we're doing Scrapbook afternoon because it's a Sunday hop, and I cannot believe how fast this year is going. Today we're lifting the scrapbook photographer Linda Mowat, and this photo of this layout, I actually watched her do this layout, and this is where I learned how to make my own wood grain background. So thanks, Linda, and now we're lifting your layout here. Tara brings us all together every Sunday, and we get to choose a different crafter, and we get to promote them and create from their layout. So today, Linda Mowat is our lucky person that we are lifting, and as you can see, I'm creating my own wood grain background. So this is something that Linda did for this layout, and this is how I learned from her. It was such an eye-opener and such a new world game changer for me. So today I needed a wood grain, and I wanted it to have a bit of a green pattern through it, but I also wanted the browns to come through. So I used scorched timber, I used some gathered twigs, and I used some rustic wilderness on this one. I also then had this Scrapping Reflections wood grain stencil, which I purchased because I saw Mel W using it, and it is so good. I love it, and I just want the hint of the knots of the wood in the wood grain as well. And using the gathered twigs, I'm just adding it into the background, and then I'm going to go over it again with the smoked the scorched timber, just to add that little bit more definition to that wood grain. And as you can see, pardon me, it's all come together quite nicely. So almost finished with this background. You too can make it yourself. You can make it any color you like. That's the beauty of creating your own wood grain. Now I have this beautiful piece of paper, and you can't really tell, but up close it's covered in little cameras. And this came from the Scrapbooking Coach, a kit I get every month, and it is perfect for this photo because the photo I'm choosing is very photographic. It's a scene. It's from my trip to Alaska, and we were having a day trip out to the Yukon for an Aussie girl going to the Yukon. That was a dream come true. I was so excited. It had not been on our agenda, but we were invited to join Jared Hawk, who has his own travel company, and we joined, and it was amazing. I got to go to the Yukon. To me, that's a dream come true. And while we were there, we got to see the Emerald Lake, and that is spectacular. Now, I've already done a page with the Emerald Lake, but this one's going to be a companion page because I just love this photo. This photo that I've taken has all the details in the lake, and I'll show you as we move forward. So I'm just trimming down my base to get it to the right size. Now, Linda has a bigger frame around hers. That's okay. I've got a smaller frame. That's because of the size of my photo. And I am throwing on a little bit of Vicky Booten down at the bottom, so you can see that I mix and match my papers all the time. I don't always go from one full set. Very rarely, in fact, go from one full set. I always mix and match. And the way I can do that is by matching the colours to my photos. And if you do that, you can't go wrong. It really does make a difference if you match it to your photos. So I am building my base just as Linda has on hers, and I'm sorry, I just had to go and get some more tape there. I ran out of some, and I thought I had already brought it over to my table, but I hadn't. So I'm just placing that bottom strip to the there that Linda has on hers, and I am going to use some ribbon, and you saw me use this in the I Craft the Challenge just recently, and I love it. It's a cross-hatched ribbon, and it's in calico, and I just like it. And it matches so brilliantly with the wood grain. And there's that photo. Stunning. Look at that. In the photo, the ripples of the waves. Look at the green around the edges. Oh my goodness. And mountains. Mountains. Cannot even tell you about mountains. Like here in Australia, we do not have mountains like it. We don't have mountains cut from ice. That is just phenomenal. And the trees. They are so perfectly straight. Here in Australia, due to drought and winds and the open flooding and the fires, our trees are not vertical. They are not definitely straight. They have curves and bends and things like that. I could not get over the beauty of the trees over there in Alaska and Canada. Amazing. I tell you what, I am going back again. It is the ultimate trip. It's so wonderful. Anyone who has never done it, you so need to go. It was the best. And for an Aussie girl over there, oh my gosh, there was just so much to see and do, and I just loved every minute of it. 3 weeks was just not long enough. So I have matted it on white, and then I have put it onto that camera background, which is also the mounted part of the framing. And I am now just going to center it in the middle of my photo. Actually, I'm actually going to put it off to the left just a little, just like Linda does on hers, and that's because of the cluster that I'm just going to build very soon. And look at that, it just matches so beautifully, and now you can see why I needed a bit of green in my wood grain. It just blends beautifully. So here's where I get the bonus. I have joined in some swaps on a group here in Australia called Girls Down Under, and we create embellishments and swap them, and we have themes. And this one, Sharon Bishop made for me, which is amazing and perfect. And then the little title quote was made by one of our own, Mel W, who is a crafter here on YouTube, Mel W Scrapping, and she created that title, and I'm able to use it. And I'm thrilled that I'm finally able to use some embellishments, but as soon as I saw this layout, I knew which ones I could use for this layout. I've die cut some trees, which you can see they reflect the trees that are in my photos, and I've gone with the blues so that they're not taking away from the photos, but they are complementing with the colours. I've added in some die cuts with some bulrushes and some grass, just which was around the lake bottom. And I'm putting in some dragonflies, which is a bit unusual because normally people would opt for the, what do you call them, butterflies, but I went with dragonflies for this one. And so I also put in a geotag up there to the top left-hand corner where Linda has got stars. I used the dragonflies instead of the stars. I've put my embellishment clusters in where she had her Christmas trees. And now I'm just going to add some Tim Holtz spritz, and this one is called Vintage Photo because I don't want it to be overpowering, but I just want it to have a bit of a copper glittery effect to it. And there's my layout, and I just love how it has come together. And of course I've added my Nuvo drops into my 3 areas to create my visual triangle. And look at that, just brilliant. It is a companion page. I don't have to add any details. It will go in with the other pages in my album of my trip to Canada and Alaska. And I just love how this turned out. So it was a great layout, and you can see the elements of Linda's original in mine. I'm just going to finish off here with a little bit more with those Nuvos, just so it looks like little nail heads on that sign, so that it finishes off beautifully. I just can't believe how well this turned out. I had a vision. I didn't know that it would work, and it has. So thanks, Linda. I really do appreciate that layout. Thanks, Tara. Thanks, Sharon, for that great cluster there. That is amazing. That one there you can see Mel made. It's fantastic. It blended beautifully. There is a full playlist below of all the crew who are playing along today. Some very talented people. Go and check them out. See how they interpreted this one this week. And I can't wait to see what they've done. Thanks, Mel, as I said, for that quote title. It was perfect for this layout. I hope I've earned a thumbs up from you. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Thanks, everybody. Happy scrapping till next time. And here's my next video. See you over there real soon. Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and we are joining in for March with the 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, and this is series number 17. I am so excited. Today's sketch is from Sarah Christensen, and it involves hexagons. How beautiful. So today I am creating a companion page for one that I've previously done, and it is going to be with my whale photos. So I have pre-cut my hexagons, which I'm going to put to the side for the moment. I've got all my die cuts I want to include into this layout, and I have my title cut and stick it up ready to go. So this layout, as I said, am using photos of my day out on the boats checking out the whales on Vancouver Island. It was an amazing experience. We were so very lucky that this pod of humpbacks were coming through the channel, and they were super very active. So what I'm doing here is I'm just preparing this layout. This is some Vicky Booten paper here, and I am just trimming it down to size. It's from her pad of paper, so it's got some core inside when I cut, which flares, but that's okay. And I like that it's got a bit of a splatter with the blue, and I'm using a blue 1-inch frame from a cardstock to create the background and give it some stability and strength. And then I will be using, as you saw, the blue from the internal part for my hexagons. So now that the hard part's done, making the base, I'm getting into layering up my photos. Now I have cut them all down into hexagons. The layout does call for one photo and then some embellished hexagons, but I decided I'm going to do all my hexagons as photos. Now I have the whale's tail, which is gorgeous. I have the single dorsal fin as the main feature, and then I have others where the pod was slapping. And you can just see here that top right hand one, that was one whale teaching the other whale how to slap their fin. It was so good to see. It was amazing, and the sound was just magic. My friend had always said to me, oh, whale watching was so good, that I would enjoy it, that I love it. And we went on so many whale watching cruises, but then that day was the day that I actually went, yeah, no, I get it now. It's so exhilarating just to watch these beautiful animals in the wild doing their thing. It was just crazy magic. We had beautiful sun, and the water was so crystal clear and smooth and calm, and you can just see these beautiful beasts in their own element. It was just magic. So I have placed down the 3 photo hexagons around the page, and now I'm just popping up this one, which is my feature hexagon, and it will overlap. Now my hexagons are larger than the sketch, but that's okay because the logistics of the sketch still stay the same. I'm going to tuck in some bubbles here from my dies that I've cut, and that will add to the feature. And I'm just trying to work out where to put the 3rd one so that the layout is balanced. And I know I need something in that corner, but I don't think that I'm going to leave that one there. I'm going to play around with this a little bit, especially when I go off camera, to put everything down in its final position. I've also cut out whales, and I know that they're not humpback whales. I know that they are looking more like orcas, but that's okay. They could be humpbacks because they've got the smaller fin. It just depends. But they were just the feature of my dies, and I thought they'll go nicely on this layout. So I'm just placing where I think things are going to go, and then you'll see when I come back off screen after gluing them down that I actually rearrange it a little bit. So I have the seaweed coming up. Now that's an extra that isn't on the layout, but I wanted to add it in just to finalise it, because we all know I can't do very much white space. This is how I finally placed the whales, and I added bubbles across that middle hexagon, and also the top right hand hexagon has bubbles from it as well to carry that theme across. Now this title I have cut, and I have cut it out of the leftover photo from when I have die cut the hexagons for the photos. So that was another feature. So they blend beautifully, these letters here, with the layout, because they are made up from the colours of the photos, and so they therefore complement the layout totally. And this called for a main long title at the top, and then a subtitle over to the right in that space, and I'm going to use stickers to do that. And these are a grey green, which fits in beautifully with the colour scheme, and this is going to be my subheading. And I actually am not journaling on this one because it's part of my travel trip album, and there will be a page full of journaling talking about these beautiful majestic giants of the ocean. So this one's going to be whale watching fun, dorsal slapping humpbacks. That's what I've called this one. So it is a bit long. These stickers are not sticking, so what I'm doing is I'm just getting them off the sheet. I'm going to place them down, and then I'll go off camera and run them through my sticker maker and put them down permanently, because I don't want to lose any of them as they go into my album. And I really am loving the colour scheme of this. I love this beautiful combination. And you can just see now that I'm adding in some little die cut words. One says wonderful, the other one says lucky, and the final one says moments. So it really was a wonderfully lucky moment that we got to see such beautiful interactivity with nature. The tail, the dorsals, it's just beautiful. So I'm adding in the final touches here with some sequins. Remember, this is the 30 days of sketches, so there will be lots and lots of people playing along. If you haven't already hit my subscribe button and the notification bell, please do so you know when I'm uploading for this hop. I will be doing a fair few of these because I do love this hop. And here you see my wonderful layout come together by that inspirational sketch. I just love the colours in this. I love how this has brought those photos to life and brought this whole page into a new album, which is just amazing. It will also go under my 2 Aussies in Canada and Alaska series. So thanks for looking, everybody. I really am impressed. Hopefully I've earned a thumbs up from you. Please do so, as YouTube loves those thumbs up. As I said, the playlist will be linked below for all the wonderful people playing along for this month. And go check them out. And thanks, Christy, for coordinating such beautiful sketches for us to work with. Inspiration comes from a sketch. You interpret it any way you like, and this is how I've done mine. Happy scrapping, everybody. See you in my next video, and here's the one I think you should be watching next. Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and I'm playing along with Baby Got Scraps today, but I'm also creating this layout for one on Ginger's Hops over on Facebook, the Art Host. And we have to scrap lift one of the captains on Ginger's teams, and this layout is one of those. So I'm going to use up all scraps, as you can see. So I have a plain white background that I'm going to build on. And I'm just going to start layering up all of the different pieces of papers that I've pulled out of my scrap pile or my leftover pile. I like that we call them scraps, but they're actually leftovers. I'm going to put in the tearing as per the layout that Ginger has put up as an inspiration piece. And I'm just pulling it all together onto this layout. I have had this paper sitting around for a bit when I was working on some of my Alaska photos, so I'm just putting it to use here. I love this wood grain paper. I like that it's the white blending to the greys to the reds, and I'm just tearing in some grey striped paper underneath. Using your nail is a great way of roughing up the edges or distressing the paper edges. Paper tearing is always a great effect on the layout. I like to do it often. Sometimes I keep them clean edges, and sometimes I like to tear and distress, which adds another element of detail or an element of interest to your layout. I'm just going to layer these in underneath each other by tucking them in, and you'll see that this bottom one I actually put down on the wrong side, even though I first mapped it out on the right side, and then I had to go back before I put the photo down and rechange it. And that's the beauty of using the double-sided tape. Until I actually press it right down hard, I can actually lift it and manipulate it. And I don't usually tend to press it down into full place until I'm happy with the layout. So I'm just putting a bit of an extra strip here because I know that this is longer than the 12 by 12 and I'm going to have to trim it down. That's very important as well when you're doing things, to make sure that you can manipulate your papers and get the best out of them. So I did move it again, and I still didn't put it into the right place, but after a while I realized that it's in the wrong section of that layout. So I'm just putting in this top one here. So now I have a top and bottom horizontal band going across. I have the middle splash of red, which is important for the photo. It is going to be a Christmas layout. Sorry, January always ends up with lots of my Christmas photos being done. That's because that's the time that I get them printed, and I want to actually focus on doing them, because for many years I've had loads and loads and loads of photos for Christmas that just sat in the camera or sat printed but not scrapped. Oh, pardon me, I really am sorry, but I'm going to have to stop for a second. Back again, sorry about that. This cold, this flu, whatever it is really getting me. I've been to the doctor, no idea what it is. The antibiotics don't seem to be working. But anyway, I'll just persevere. So I apologise for my voice in these videos. I'm hoping it goes soon. So what I'm doing now is I'm just layering up all of the embellishments that I pulled, and I pulled them in the reds and the blacks and the whites because I wanted to copy the colours of the wood grain here. This photo of myself is outside the barn in Martin Place at Christmas, where we had our Santa photo. This year we chose to have the photo taken at Martin Place. They had this barn set up, and it was like Santa's workshop barn. It was really cool. It was something different. I always look for a different place for our family photos. Generally, we've been using Maya. Last year we were up at the Hunter Valley, and we did it in the Hunter Valley Gardens. So this year we did it at the Martin Place barn, and it was great. And I was just sitting down outside the mailbox, because I always take a photo of Santa mailboxes wherever I see them, because that's another little like of mine. And what I'm doing now is I'm just adding in some gold shimmers to build the 3 visual points on the layout to draw your eye around. I've put in the stars. I'm now also going to use my gold pen, which is going to add some gold sparkle to the middle of these embellishments, highlighting the stars here, and making them stand out against the background with some shimmer. Hard to see in the video, but in real life they do have a little bit of a shimmer to them, and that's adding that Christmas magic to the layout. To me, it is the most wonderful time of the year. Everybody who knows me knows I love Christmas, and I'm on the countdown for it. I have always loved Christmas. It's not a new thing as I've gotten older. It is something that I've always loved. And it's a bit of a running joke at work about how quickly before I can start wearing my Christmas shirts to school and so forth. So there's my layout. It's a quick and simple one today. That's what scrap lifts are meant to be. They're meant to inspire. They're meant to get you thinking creatively and quickly. I've put my little journaling there in the tag, and this is how it's come together. Now, please feel free to scrap lift anything I put up. I'm more than happy for you to do that. I hope this inspires you to get out your papers. Think creatively with those leftover scraps. You love them once, use them again. They'll make a beautiful layout. And if you want to see more, follow the playlist down below where people are getting very creative with their scraps this month. Thanks once again for watching. Hopefully I'm better soon. I'm also playing along with Jumpstart Boogie Bash in Bash Your Stash on Facebook, and I'll put the links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy scrapping. Till next time. And here's my next video for you. Hi everyone, it's Kathy here, and we are starting off our Series 18 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And today is day 1, and the sketch was by Eve from Caledonia Papercraft. All of her details will be down below. Go check her out. So I am going to try really hard to unpack sketches as I go. I have chosen this ombre background for my piece of paper that I'm going to work with. I've chosen this star paper here that I will build my chevrons from, and I have the 3 bright colours down the bottom to do the banners at the bottom. Now I have put a frame around the outside with black cardstock. That's my choice. And then I have ruled in the interior lines for my faux stitching or my stamped stitching, which is what is on the sketch. Now Gia has done a running stitch on her sketch, and I've brought my stitching row in just a little bit further than where she has on hers, but that's because I wanted to put this decorative crazy stitch onto the layout. So I'm stamping mine so that it has this effect on the layout. You could actually run it through a sewing machine and do it, or you could just draw it on with faux stitching, or just not have one. You could just interpret it as having a border with just a piece of cardstock as your background, or the pattern paper as your background. So I have got a black framing on my piece of paper here that I am using as my background, and I am putting the stitching in. And that's what I've chosen to do with the sketch. That's how I've interpreted it. I love this stamp. It just looks so effective on the layout. And as you can see, it has now set up the interior of my layout. Now, of course, that then has changed the dimensions of my spacing. Now, I was going with a larger photo, so I'll talk about that shortly. Behind the chevrons, she has what looks to be some mixed media. Now, I don't want to do any smooching because that's what it looks like, but I am going to do these black ink splatters just to put that effect in behind the chevrons, and I'm using black dilution spray, and I'm just splattering it across the background. I will put that to the side so that it can dry and form a firm background to work with. I have used my Cricut to cut out a title, so while the background is drying, I am going to put together my title, and as I said, I use my Cricut, so I'm just piecing it together. Now, there are lots and lots of people who know how to do this so much better than I do, obviously. This is just how I have done it. I run all my letters through my sticker maker because it's easier and it's cleaner for me. And I'm just putting in the letters one by one. I am using my awl here to lift and place, but I'm sure there are tools that you can get proper ones, but this is what I just use. I use my awl because it's my tool that I go to for everything when I'm scrapping. And I'm just putting in the title ready to place onto my layout. Now, when I'm looking at a sketch, I have actually looked at this sketch for so long and thought about it for so long that I've done a lot of pre-planning before sitting down to work it. I do that a lot when I'm planning to use a sketch. I think about what papers I'm going to use, what photo I'm going to use, how I'm going to pull it together. So I knew I wanted to cut the chevrons. I knew I was going to use my Cricut to do it, so I just had to work out my sizing. I also knew that I wanted my chevrons to be noticeable because I knew my photos would be bigger. So I have cut bigger chevrons, and that's okay because that's my interpretation. And as a result, I'm not going to put it down the center exactly as Eve has on her sketch. I'm going to move mine slightly to the left because my photo, when it sits over to the right, will cover it all up if I don't put it over to the left, but I want it to be noticeable as well. Now I am just going to layer the 3 chevrons up, and I'm going to put them directly under each other, and that will form like that arrow point up the page. Now I really like this design. It's a cool design. It's got lots of potential. I at first thought I was going to stitch even the chevrons, but then I decided no, I'm not going to do that. I would just leave them flat because I put that faux stitching around the outside. On my Cricut, I also cut out 3 different banners and the 3 different styles of borders, and that's because I was looking at the loops in Eve's sketch, and I went through Design Studio to look for 3 different loopy style borders that I could use to put down here as a shelf on the layout. Now, you could use a border punch, and I could have because I've got many border punches, but I really liked the concept of the loopy, the freeness of the loops. So that's why I cut 3 different loopy ones using the Cricut. I also use my Cricut to cut my Polaroid frames, and I'm going to overlap them, and I did them in white because I wanted them to be true. I wanted them to be like a Polaroid, and I'm putting those over to the right. So as you can see, those chevrons, if I'd have done them smaller, they would have been lost behind that frame and photo. So that's why I did them larger. And that does use up a lot of that white empty space, but anyone who knows me, I don't particularly like a lot of empty white space on my layouts. That's personal choice. It's just the way I am. You can by all means go and follow the sketch exactly, but the whole idea about a sketch is to take the interpretation of it and put it your way, scrap your way, use your style. So I like big, I like bold, I like colourful, so that's what I've done here. I'm now adding in my title, and I am popping it up with foam tape because I want it to be up off that layout and give some dimension and depth to the layout. I really did turn my photo so that it's popping out of those frames, so that's allowing the chevron to show through in the background as well, and I just like how that has come up. Off screen, I did my journaling onto the bottom of the frame of the photo there, and then I've just set up my visual triangle with the 3 sets of 3 Nuvo drops. And you can also see that I put a paper clip to the top there that says take note, and that was from Vicky Burton. Now, in the sketch, Eve has put little hearts at the loops in her border down here, but I'm just going to add some black glitter stickles, and I'm just putting those on the points of that loop in the second row, and they become a feature across the bottom, and that drags the black down further, and that allows your eye to be equally balanced across that layout. And I do like the overall effect of this layout. It has come up quite cleanly, quite simply, and I just think it's magic. I can see that this would be a great layout. You would be able to rotate this layout to the left, to the right, upside down. This would really work in multiple directions. So have a go, everybody. Just unpack the sketch the way you want. Use your design, your colours, and it'll be amazing. I can't wait to go and see what everybody else is doing by going through the full playlist that will be linked down below. I like seeing how other people interpret sketches, and I love learning from other creators out there. So thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if I've done something to earn it. Hit that subscribe button and the notification button ready for the next one. Happy scrapping. See you in my next video.
Hey Scrappy friends, today we're getting all about that base. No embellies, no fuss, just pure paper play as I prep for the 20 layouts in 20 days hop. I'm diving into my scrap stash and turning leftovers into layout gold. It's all about working smarter, not harder. So when the challenge kicks off, I'm ready to rock and roll. Grab your scraps and let's build some beautiful bases together. This is Kathy and I am playing along with All About That Base with Ginger on Ginger's Hops. Now I am just grabbing all of my leftovers that I have lying around and I'm just pulling them together to create my bases ready to go. This one here I'm using Vicky Burton's Flower Emporium leftovers and you can just see how gorgeous they are. I am prepping pieces all over the place here, and I'm using my paper edge punch here because I think I'd like a bit of a decorative piece added into the layout, and I'm just going to put it through my paper punch that you saw there, and I'm going to still ink that one up as well, and I'm going to see how this all comes together. Now I'm using scorched timber here to ink the edges. As Ginger says, we all have lots of ink, so use it up, and I am just building a pretty simple base here, I think. The colors are just magic. They just complement so beautifully, and as I said, these are leftovers from layouts that I've just completed recently. So instead of putting them into the stash pile, I'm actually going to utilize them and make them work for me. I love this piece here with that little corner of mixed media. I think that's an amazing piece of layout. See what I did there? I put it down incorrectly, so I have to stick it, line it with tape. Oh my gosh, get your words out, Kathy. Here we go. I'm putting down now another vertical strip here, which is that beautiful piece that is punched with that nice lacy edge punch, and that's going to meld the colors together. I'm going to I'm just layering up left, right and center here. I'm making some anchor points, which will be good. I'm going to fuss around with these circles because I wanted those as part of the layout as well. And I just think it's coming. Oh, that's better. I might move it over there to that side. That looks like it could be a photo point, and these could be anchor points as well. So I think that's more me. Maybe I could add a bit more, but I'm going to keep that piece to the side, and I'll probably, what I'll do is I will paper clip it to this base because I will find a use for it, whether it's matting or building tags or cutting out a title or something. I will keep it together so that it all blends and is of the same paper range. So this one is going to be using the Flower Emporium as my base. I am going to try and keep the same papers for this one, which is unusual for me, I know. I'm only putting a tiny little bit of tape there so that I can move it if I need to when I come to the final layout. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I have those two pieces there, and I'm going to keep them together for that first layout base. Here is another one with some different colors, and this one is made up. I'm going to be making up from lots of different pieces of scrap. Now I did 5 for 5 recently. If you watch that video, I'll put that in a link just here now for you, so you can go and watch that one where I've used these papers in, and I'm sure that you'll get some inspiration there as well. But I'm going to just blend these colors together nicely. They are in rich oranges and reds and pinks and some teal. So I'm sure I've got photos somewhere that will match these. I'm just going to piece bits and pieces together because that's very important, so that they all come together to create the 12 by 12. Now I'm going to strip all of those pieces that you just saw, and I am going to bring them down to 6 by 6s, and I'm going to build a half and half page really, and one side is the 6 by 6 pattern with those squares with the florals in it, and then I'm going to do the 6 by 6 as strips to the top. And that's just a different way of using up your scraps. They're still being used up. Yes, I did reduce them smaller, but that is not a problem because it does make for an interesting layout to work with. I'm just going to cut all of these in strips. They were, well, most of them were 12 by 12, 12 by 1. Is it 1 or 3? Yeah, 12 by 1. And then I'm cutting them down to 6 by 1s. And then I'll be able to layer them up and create that base part of my layout. So you can see here, this is a little bit fiddly, but the end result will be perfect. Now, all of these bases are used straight as they are, or I could put a frame on them when I get to them by trimming them down. I won't know exactly what I'm going to do until November when I sit down and attack this challenge. and then I'll be able to piece together some layouts very quickly every single day. This will come under the category of speedy scrapping when it comes together. And the idea of prepping bases is so that little thought goes into the base part, and then you can just embellish it, add your photos, and away you go. So there's going to probably be a whole lot of people playing along, so you might want to check the playlist that I have in the description box down below, because you will see some very talented people putting their scraps to perfect use. And the only criteria is that we're not allowed to cut into a new 12 by 12 sheet. So that's pretty easy to achieve with the amount of stash of base scraps that we have lying around in our stashes, so you too can create nice and easily. I am using this ladder type of thing here, and that's making a great growth up the page. Now, as you can see, I could have it as this way, or I could turn it around that way, and I don't actually like that there's that uneven join there between the patterns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a branding strip, and I'm just going to attach that across there. This actually is a Vicky Bouton branding strip piece, and I'm going to put that down here just because of that beigey bony color, tying it together with the diagonal strips. And look at that, amazing. That finishes it off nice and tight and nice and neat. And then I'm going to be able to create a layout somehow. I could either go, I have to go that way as you saw because of that floral going down the center. Now I am going to do more of this here with another set of scraps, and this set of scraps here is from Scrapbook Fantasies. These layouts come together beautifully. They are nice. I love all of these colors in this. This is the Nature's Way collection, and they are leftover pieces that I have, and I'm just going to build a layout using them by blocking. So I'm putting down a left hand vertical there that you can see. Then I'm going to put in 2 into the corners so it looks like it goes right across the layout. And so they're going to be the 2 corner pieces. And this is the beauty with our scraps. They can overlay and fill up the base. And I really am sorry about Ivy in the background. She's having a bit of a interaction with one of the children. And then I'm also going to put in some horizontals across here in the other colors that bring out the beautiful shades of that layout. Now I did measure there because I know I'm going to have to trim a little, and I'm putting in a decorative edge just to add that little bit extra because I want the green to have that there. So I'm just made sure I knew the length of it so I could use that decorative edge, and now you can see how it has come together here. Now put these into place. It's as easy as this is creating your bases. Not much thought really needs to go into it, and I always think it's really funny that when you're creating a base just like this to create a pre-made base, you don't put much thought in it. You go, oh, I've got this piece of paper and I've got this piece of paper and I'm going to put this together and I'm going to put this together. But when we sit down to create from scratch, it always seems to take a whole lot of time and a whole lot of decision making, which is really, really unique. Now I have this piece here that you just saw me trim down, and I am cutting 1/4 inch strips, which I am going to use as my finishing points for this layout. So I'm stripping down here, and I love that the colors just all blend so well. And that's the beauty of using the same paper ranges, because they do fall together and do complement. So I'm just putting in my strips here, and then I am going to trim them off, and you can see how that has happened. And I'm putting that little tiny piece that I overcut there, and now I have this one in place, and there you go. That's how this layout is going to look. Now this one here is also a multi-directional layout. I can have it multiple ways, and I do have all these extra little bit of strips of paper here which I will paper clip to it. Thanks for watching. I'm getting excited. Hope you are too. Stay creative, friends, and here's my next video for you. See you real soon. Hey Scrubby friends, today we're getting all about that base. No embellies, no fuss, just pure paper play as I prep for the 20 layouts in 20 days hop. I'm diving into my scrap stash and turning leftovers into layout gold. It's all about working smarter, not harder. So when the challenge kicks off, I'm ready to rock and roll. Grab your scraps and let's build some beautiful bases together. This is Kathy and I am playing along with All About That Base with Ginger on Ginger's Hops. Now I am just grabbing all of my leftovers that I have lying around and I'm just pulling them together to create my bases ready to go. This one here I'm using Vicky Booten's Flower Emporium leftovers and you can just see how gorgeous they are. I am prepping pieces all over the place here and I'm using my paper edge punch here because I think I'd like a bit of a decorative piece added into the layout, and I'm just going to put it through my paper punch that you saw there, and I'm going to still ink that one up as well, and I'm going to see how this all comes together. Now I'm using scorched timber here to ink the edges. As Ginger says, we all have lots of ink, so use it up, and I am just building a pretty simple base here, I think. The colors are just magic. They just complement so beautifully, and as I said, these are leftovers from layouts that I've just completed recently. So instead of putting them into the stash pile, I'm actually going to utilize them and make them work for me. I love this piece here with that little corner of mixed media. I think that's an amazing piece of layout. See what I did there? I put it down incorrectly, so I have to stick it, line it with tape. Oh my gosh, get your words out, Kathy. Here we go. I'm putting down now another vertical strip here, which is that beautiful piece that is punched with that nice lacy edge punch, and that's going to meld the colors together. I'm going to I'm just layering up left, right and center here. I'm making some anchor points which will be good. I'm going to fuss around with these circles because I wanted those as part of the layout as well. And I just think it's coming. Oh, that's better. I might move it over there to that side. That looks like it could be a photo point, and these could be anchor points as well. So I think that's more me. Maybe I could add a bit more, but I'm going to keep that piece to the side, and I'll probably, what I'll do is I will paper clip it to this base because I will find a use for it, whether it's matting or building tags or cutting out a title or something. I will keep it together so that it all blends and is of the same paper range. So this one is going to be using the Flower Emporium as my base. I am going to try and keep the same papers for this one, which is unusual for me, I know. I'm only putting a tiny little bit of tape there so that I can move it if I need to when I come to the final layout. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I have those two pieces there and I'm going to keep them together for that first layout base. Here is another one with some different colors, and this one is made up. I'm going to be making up from lots of different pieces of scrap. Now I did 5 for 5 recently. If you watched that video, I'll put that in a link just here now for you, so you can go and watch that one where I've used these papers in, and I'm sure that you'll get some inspiration there as well. But I'm going to just blend these colors together nicely. They are in rich oranges and reds and pinks and some teal. So I'm sure I've got photos somewhere that will match these. I'm just going to piece bits and pieces together because that's very important, so that they all come together to create the 12 by 12. Now I'm going to strip all of those pieces that you just saw, and I am going to bring them down to 6 by 6s, and I'm going to build a half and half page really, and one side is the 6 by 6 pattern with those squares with the florals in it, and then I'm going to do the 6 by 6 as strips to the top, And that's just a different way of using up your scraps. They're still being used up. Yes, I did reduce them smaller, but that is not a problem because it does make for an interesting layout to work with. I'm just going to cut all of these in strips. They were, well, most of them were 12 by 12, 12 by 1. Is it 1 or 3/4? Yeah, 12 by 1. And then I'm cutting them down to 6 by 1s. And then I'll be able to layer them up and create that base part of my layout. So you can see here, this is a little bit fiddly, but the end result will be perfect. Now, all of these bases are used straight as they are, or I could put a frame on them when I get to them by trimming them down. I won't know exactly what I'm going to do until November when I sit down and attack this challenge, and then I'll be able to piece together some layouts very quickly every single day. This will come under the category of speedy scrapping when it comes together. And the idea of prepping bases is so that little thought goes into the base part, and then you can just embellish it, add your photos, and away you go. So there's going to probably be a whole lot of people playing along, so you might want to check the playlist that I have in the description box down below, because you will see some very talented people putting their scraps to perfect use. And the only criteria is that we're not allowed to cut into a new 12 by 12 sheet. So that's pretty easy to achieve with the amount of stash of base scraps that we have lying around in our stashes. So you too can create nice and easily. I am using this ladder type of thing here, and that's making a great growth up the page. Now, as you can see, I could have it as this way, or I could turn it around that way, and I don't actually like that there's that uneven join there between the patterns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a branding strip, and I'm just going to attach that across there. This actually is a Vicky Bouton branding strip piece, and I'm going to put that down here just because of that beigey bony color, tying it together with the diagonal strips. And look at that, amazing. That finishes it off nice and tight and nice and neat. And then I'm going to be able to create a layout somehow. I could either go, I have to go that way as you saw because of that floral going down the center. Now I am going to do more of this here with another set of scraps, and this set of scraps here is from Scrapbook Fantasies. These layouts come together beautifully. They are nice. I love all of these colors in this. This is the Nature's Way collection, and they are leftover pieces that I have, and I'm just going to build a layout using them by blocking. So I'm putting down a left hand vertical there that you can see. Then I'm going to put in 2 into the corners so it looks like it goes right across the layout. And so they're going to be the 2 corner pieces. And this is the beauty with our scraps. They can overlay and fill up the base. And I really am sorry about Ivy in the background. She's having a bit of a interaction with one of the children. And then I'm also going to put in some horizontals across here in the other colors that bring out the beautiful shades of that layout. Now I did measure there because I know I'm going to have to trim a little, and I'm putting in a decorative edge just to add that little bit extra because I want the green to have that there. So I'm just made sure I knew the length of it so I could use that decorative edge, and now you can see how it has come together here. Now put these into place. It's as easy as this is creating your bases. Not much thought really needs to go into it. And I always think it's really funny that when you're creating a base just like this to create a pre-made base, you don't put much thought in it. You go, oh, I've got this piece of paper and I've got this piece of paper and I'm going to put this together and I'm going to put this together. But when we sit down to create from scratch, it always seems to take a whole lot of time and a whole lot of decision making, which is really, really unique. Now I have this piece here that you just saw me trim down, and I am cutting 1/4 inch strips, which I am going to use as my finishing points for this layout. So I'm stripping down here, and I love that the colors just all blend so well, and that's the beauty of using the same paper ranges, because they do fall together and do complement. So I'm just putting in my strips here, and then I am going to trim them off, and you can see how that has happened. And I'm putting that little tiny piece that I overcut there, and now I have this one in place, and there you go. That's how this layout is going to look. Now this one here is also a multi-directional layout. I can have it multiple ways, and I do have all these extra little bit of strips of paper here, which I will paper clip to it. Thanks for watching. I'm getting excited. Hope you are too. Stay creative, friends, and here's my next video for you. See you real soon.
Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and it is a special day. Today we are celebrating me. That's right, 500 subscribers. How amazing. Who would have thought it possible? Not me, that's for certain. I am so thrilled that each and every one of you have hit that subscribe button. Today we're scrap lifting me. That's right, this is my layout that I'm going to do. It's one from my very first lot of scrapbooking that I've ever done. And I'm beyond thrilled that you all think my content worthy of your precious time, that you spend time watching and you like and you subscribe, and I am so happy. Of course, it is wonderful if you're new here today, and I hope that you subscribe for more of my content after watching today's video. I want to thank you all, subscribers and creators alike. Without you, 500 would never have been a reality. I cannot believe it. I am so excited. So as a thank you, I have 2 giveaway opportunities for you. I have one for the creators and one for you, the subscribers. Both are worth $25. They're a voucher for scrapbook.com if you're from overseas, and a $25 voucher negotiable here in Australia if you're an Australian winner. All you have to do is, as a subscriber, is to leave me a comment here and tell me that you've subscribed, as well as leaving a comment on all of the people who are creating along with me today to celebrate my 500 subscribers. I cannot wait to see what layout they all choose. It's going to be pretty exciting to see the interpretations that people have of my work. Now, as I said, I am scrap lifting one of my older layouts. I don't have a video for it because it's one of my very first ones that I did all those many years ago. So I am modernizing it a little bit with the color scheme and with the colors and with my product that I am using. I am so excited for you all to be part of this process today. So I have created this layout once before, as I said, and this time I'm going to do the same again, but with my more modern photos. I am creating a 3-frame for this layout, and so I started with some green, and that was a Kaisercraft paper. Then I have this paper here, which is a Vicky Bouton paper, and as you can see, I use and mix and match accordingly on my desire for my layout. So if you haven't already guessed, this will be a Wicked themed layout. Of course it will be, because it's pink and green. What else could it be but Alphaba and Galinda? And I am just creating my triple frame for my base, and I only had cardstock and very limited pattern paper when I first started to scrap. My budget was extremely tight, so I had to make everything count and stretch it as far as I could. So that's why you see me gut a lot of my papers these days, is because it's just an old habit that I have accumulated over time to make sure that my budget stretches and my paper stash keeps going forever. Now I really don't need to do this anymore. I have so much paper, it's not funny, but it's an old habit and it's one that I just keep doing. And if you're on a budget, this is a great way to build and stash and extend everything that you own so that you get the best out of your money.
So I'm creating the triple frame, as I said. This time I'm putting the black in as my middle frame, and that is going to be the color that bolsters the whole layout and gives it that pop factor that you like to achieve. Now this one is a little bit longer or in the end, so I'm just going to trim it down a little bit more so that on the edge of this frame there's more showing of the pink. Now the Vicky Bouton paper was a ombre paper, so the pink ombre's down and it's not as bright down the bottom as it is at the top, but that's okay, that works well for this layout. So I'm just removing my tape one side at a time, and I do that so that I don't end up with a ripple effect on my layout. As I said, there are lots of creators playing along today, and I'm so excited that they have taken time out of their busy creative schedule to join me on this hop. And if it wasn't for their support, I wouldn't have reached what I have. They are very, very supportive in this community, and it's so nice to see how talented they are, and they're willing to share their talent with you today in this hop. So please go and check them out. They will be all listed down below and linked down below. I can't wait to see what they've chosen of my layouts to lift, and I'm sure they're going to be a great variety for you to be inspired as well. I have now trimmed down 2 pieces of the green and the pink, and these papers are double-sided. Now the pink one that you just saw there with the stripes on it, that is a Bella Boulevard one. So I'm just mixing and matching based on what I need and the papers that I have available. And that's to show that you don't need to have a whole collection to create. You can mix and match and they work just as well. So I have got my pink and green happening there. Now I need to put in my center frame, which I have of that black, which I am continually gutting down, as you can see, and I'm maximizing the use of that one piece of cardstock. It appears right throughout this layout. I do not grab another piece of cardstock. I just use the same one. I'm now using the reverse side of those pattern papers. So I had the checks on the one side, and now I've got the stripes on this side. The other one I had stars, and then I've got stripes. So it's a bit like Melvin from that movie, isn't it? Black stripes, white stripes. No, Madagascar. That was the name of the movie I was trying to think. Oh my goodness, mental block. Sorry about that. No, but I've got pink stripes and green stripes this time, and I'm putting it on the reverse so that they are on top of each other in the reverse color shades, which works great for my color theme for this layout. And once this goes down in the middle, I can then prepare the rest of the base and have it all set and ready to go. And I'm loving the color scheme, and I do like the green and the pink together. It always reminds me of Miss Piggy and Kermit, 2 of my favourites. I don't know why, it just does. So I'm marking out the 6-inch, pretty unusual for me. I'm actually using a ruler and marking it, making sure that it lines up halfway across. And then down that centre strip, that's the divide that I had on my original layout, and which I'm also going to have as my centrepiece here. So here are my 2 photos. Now these were taken at Christmas time. We were in the city and we were going through Maya, and they had a Wicked display, because back last year, November, December, Wicked, everybody was Wicked mad, and so I love Alphaba, so I took the photo, got the photo taken of me with Alphaba there, and the Wicked sign above just is perfect to let that memory exist. So I've put down some green washi tape, which is glitter. Now, it's not very sticky. I don't know. The glitter ones don't seem to hold their stick very well, so I've put down extra adhesive to make sure it sticks. Using my dies, I have cut my banners this time. When I did the original, I free-handed them. This time I've cut them using my dies because I wanted to double mat them, and they have a decorative edge as well. So I'm creating the banners across the top, just the same as my previous layout. These banners are a little bit smaller, but they are also a different shape, but I like how this works together, and you'll see why in a moment when I go to finish it off. I'm now using the pink washi, which is in the glitter, and I'm just going to definitely need to put adhesive to this one because it really does not hold on the cardstock as well as it should.
but for some reason I don't know, this brand from Espresso, it just wasn't sticky very much. And so I love the colors, I love the feel of it, I just need to help it to stick. So I'm just going to seal it over to the other side, and that allows it to be held in place, not to come off from my layout. I'm just going to add a little bit there for that tuck over on the side, and there you go. So now my banners are in place. Now I've gone through my mulberry flower stash. Now that was a trip and a half going through that stash looking for the right colours. I have got black, greens and pinks in all shades, and in the centre I have flower brads, and I've got greens and black as the colours for my brads in the centre there. So I really like how this is coming together. It's picking up the colours in the photo, and it's also picking up the theme of the page. Now I can understand why people gave brads the flick after a while, because I just forget this part that sometimes they're just difficult to get through. So I am using my awl to put a hole through the cardstock to allow those brads to go through, and then I'm putting them into place and placing them down, and there's my flowers down the center. Now I used my Xyron sticker maker and a die cuts here. I die cut the letters, then I stuck them onto the papers, and then I fussy cut around them because I don't have a masking for those letters. So old school, fussy cut around your letters to get that matting happening. And so I pull out the W, and then I realize I actually need to go from the end to the front. That makes sure it fits into that space. And I just like these letters. They're my newest die, and they've got like a stitched edging around the letters. So I really do like how they look. So I have that word wicked, and the other word is going to say feeling. So I like how this is coming together. It's a very simple layout, but it does look effective. I was going to use this for my groundhog layout earlier this year, but then I chose a different one. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to scrap lift myself for this hop. So I am going to add in these diamond green gemstones, just trying to use up my stash. And I was liking how this just finishes it off. I was going to go in the opposite, but then I decided I'd keep it the same and go smalls with the large in the middle. And I just like how that looks on this page. So I'm just going to put those away and then add a little bit of adhesive to make sure they stick and stay adhered to my layout, because I don't want them falling off, because as is wont with stickers and things, the backings tend to lose their stickiness for some reason, and so I am just making sure that they're not going to go anywhere. And that is it. That is my layout. I am very excited with how this has come up. I'm just going to do a little bit of journaling in the bottom here, and while I'm doing that, don't forget there is a giveaway. All you have to do is leave me a comment here and tell me that you've subscribed. Then head on over to all the videos that are playing in this hop and leave those wonderful people a comment. I will be checking, because I will put all your names into a drawer, and on my layout reveal or walkthrough for April, in the first week of May, I will do the draw of the winners. So you've got time to watch everybody. Make sure you go and leave a comment. This is how my layout has come together. I'm loving the overall effect of this layout. It looks so good compared to the original. It's very similar, but it's bright and it's modern and it's feeling wicked. So if you're feeling wicked, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like what I've done. Let me know that you're really, really excited about this hop and all the people that are playing along. I really do appreciate every single one of you. 500 subscribers. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. You can find me on Instagram. Here's my Instagram. You can also see me on Facebook. Happy scrapping, everybody. Thanks for playing along. And here's my next video recommendation for you. I'll see you over there.
Welcome to day one of 30 days of sketches. And this hop is hosted by Christy Harriman, and I could not be more excited to kick things off with this amazing day one sketch by Sarah Christensen. This is just the beginning of an incredible month of creativity, so be sure to like, comment and subscribe so you don't miss a layout. Let's pull our papers and photos and get this month started. I'm Kathy, and today I'm creating this layout, as you just saw that fantastic sketch, using photos that I took when I was at Glow earlier this year. Now, this particular layout is one that I am going to utilize some of my scraps for that have been laying around on my desk, and it's perfect for that type of an idea. I have these photos which were cut down to 3 by 3, and I'm actually going to cut them down now to 3 1/4 by 3. No, 2 3/4 by 3. Sorry. Oh my goodness, couldn't even think what size I cut them to. 2 3/4 by 3, so that I can fit them onto this layout. Now I have the beautiful blue wood grain paper there that I got from Scrapbook Fantasies, and I am actually just going to put a border in with a thin strip of the yellow cardstock. And this is an easy trick of bordering up your layouts by cutting a 1/4 inch of cardstock. You can then just build a frame around your layout, and that's what I'm doing here to make this whole layout pop. Now, when I first saw this sketch, I was really unsure about what I wanted to do. I wasn't I was like, I'm not sure how I can even work this sketch, but then I decided that I'd go with the underwater theme of the photos, and it actually came together quite well and quite easily. Now, I do think a lot before I do my layouts. I sit and I think about them for a long time. I'm a bit of a planner in my head for an excessive amount of time, I must say. It sometimes is ridiculous how long I spend thinking about a layout before I begin. But once I begin and I'm happy with what I've got for it, it just comes together quite easily. So now that I have built my border around my page, you can see how much that pops that now. It looks quite effective. And the reason I chose the yellow was because there were hints of yellow in my photos. Now, these photos, as I said, were taken at Glow at Sydney Zoo earlier this year, and they were of the underwater scene near the aquarium. And I just loved how they looked and how much pretty colours were involved in this layout. I am actually using this as a companion page to one I've done previously, which I will link here in the comments for you. So up the top, if you go to that link, you can go and see the video that this one relates to. So it will be a companion page, and that ties in nicely. So I'm just matting each of these little ones with a hint of yellow behind, and that's dragging that border into my layout. But you can also see that there's the yellow in that paper that I'm going to use as the backing underneath, and I just love the colors. So I'm just going to trim it down so that I can use it on the page as per the sketch. Now there are 4 here, and I have cut them at 3 by I think I did them at 4 1/4, 3 by 4 1/4. And that just gives me that little leeway there to build up the embellishments on the side. And then I need to cut the longer ones now, and they are going to go down the 4 corners, and they too are 3 by 4 1/4. Oh, 3 3/4. 3 3/4 they are. And they fit in there like so. And then I'm going to build this middle one because I actually don't have a full, but I'm going to build it. And you can see by putting the papers together, it looks like it's one strip anyway. And because I do put things over the top, you won't even see the joins. Now on the sketch, she has got these extra patches on hers, which I am now drawing in the underlay from the photo mats. And that's bringing the colors into the layout. And then on my center one there, I am also going to build that underlay with the leftover pieces. But first I'm going to adhere these into place so I've got them and don't lose them. I have a terrible tendency of knocking things off my desk and then not being able to find them when I want them again. So I'm just making sure that they're on the layout and so that everything is in place so I can continue working. And I'm just loving the color scheme. It's just working perfectly for those photos, and that's always how I work. I work by my photo colors. I think that that's very important when you're creating a layout, is that if you want your photos to pop, regardless of how busy your background or how busy your clusters, your photos will always pop if the colors of your papers match the colors of your photos. that's something I've learnt over time. They don't clash. People often think that they will clash. They won't if you make sure that the colours are pretty similar to what's in your photos. So I'm building up this stash here, and trust me, I've learnt that from lots and lots of errors where I have thought papers will work with a photo and it hasn't. So I do that very, very carefully now. And I'm just building that up there, and you can hardly tell that that's a patched together piece. And once all the pieces that I've fussy cut out go onto it, you will not even notice. Now, all of these fussy cut elements have come from the icons page of Under the Sea at Scrapbook, Scrapper Sketch, and it's really cool that I was able to implement all of these into this layout to build up this total overall effect, and I love it. I love the overall design. There are some seahorses that I was able to drag into my layout, and I'm just mixing and matching and playing with it, and I'm just putting the seahorses at opposite corners on the diagonal, and that's keeping it going across the page. And then I'm just layering up the little pieces, and you'll see that I'll audition them around lots and lots of different ways, because it's really a tricky process to make sure that it's balanced, and I want to try and stay true to the sketch as well. One thing that you won't see, and that's because when I go to stick it all down once I've mapped it all out, is I actually go off screen and use my die cutting machine and cut some bubbles, which I will need to put into these embellishment clusters, and you will see that when I have stuck them down. Some of them will be popped up on foam dots, others will be flat against the layout, and that's going to give it that dimension and texture. But I do love how all of this is coming together, and these, as I said, these printable icons from Scrapper Sketch, which I'll put down below a link to, they just fitted so well and complemented the colors of the layout. I couldn't have asked for better if I tried. So I'm just throwing in some shells, I'm throwing in some coral, I've got some starfish and some little fish, and it's just all looking like an underwater aquarium, which is so cute, and just pulling this whole concept together. So it just shows you that on a sketch, your embellishments don't have to be what is put there. They're just the suggestion. So on the sketch, Sarah had flowers, and I am putting in sea elements. So you could have cogs, you could have whatever it is, the theme of your layout, and they can build the same clusters. So don't be afraid to swap out what is on the suggested sketch to things that match your intention for your layout. And I just love how this is looking. So I'm going to go off, and I am going to just pop a few more things in to make sure it's balanced. And there you go. I went off screen so you didn't see me gluing it all down, because that's pretty boring. And you can just see how those bubbles got added in behind the fish and the seahorse and the shells, and it's just that little bit of an extra to add and build that cluster and make it pop a little bit more. So I'm just showing you how I use the foam dots to pop up the little pieces, and I'm just putting in that tag at the top, which will be my journaling, and saying where this was. And look at that. I love how this all came together. I'm going to put in the title, the word glow, because that's where it was. It's Sydney Glow. And I don't have an L, so I'm going to have to build an L with these foam thickers. And that's pretty easy. In the case of an L, it's just putting in a horizontal leg at the bottom, and it looks like it's all one letter, and you wouldn't know that I had constructed that together. And look at that, isn't it adorable? Now, to make those panels really stand out, I'm going to go around all of them with my black pen. Now that's just something I like to do. I want each piece to stand out. It makes it pop just a little bit more. I could have inked around the edges. I could have sewn around the edges. There's so many different options that you could have done. You could, if you're using white cardstock, you could even do like a glow behind each of the squares with some mixed media. So this sketch is very versatile, and I think it's going to become one I come back and do again, because I really do like the fact that this grid style is off-centered, because it's got the parallel
and horizontals all over the place, which is pretty good. And then I just love that you can have those embellishment clusters as separate panels, and it still has 4 photos on the page. So I can't wait to check out what everybody else in the hop is doing. There will be so many interpretations, and there will be a full playlist, which I'll have linked down below. But you can also go over to Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Facebook page, which I'll put in as a link at the bottom, so that you can check out and play along as well. And you will be inspired by some very talented creators out there. So I'm hoping that I've done enough to earn a thumbs up from you. As always, YouTube loves that interaction. If you ever see the hype button on my videos, which should be appearing very soon, if you do see those hype buttons, don't forget to give me a hype. It will really, really help to push out my content. I really need that happening once that hype starts hitting my videos. So just check out what everybody else is doing. I'm adding in those Nuvo dots in the pearl there, and that's just finishing off those clusters, and I just love it. I can honestly say this turned out way better than I thought it was going to turn out, and I really, really think it's a great companion page. There you can see it up nice and close. I've got a little bit of journaling in there, and I have got those bubbles coming out. How effective does that die look? It looks really, really cool, and that's how easy it is to add that little bit extra to make your clusters pop. So have fun, everybody. Go and play. Don't be afraid to mix and match those icons and elements to build your layout so it looks the way you want it to look. Here it is, up close, full playlist down below. Don't forget to go and check everybody out and leave them a thumbs up or a comment. It makes everybody very, very happy. And I'm really sorry about the background noise. My children don't remember that I said I'm videoing, and they just come in and clash around the house like the elephants they are. Happy scrapping, everybody, and I really do appreciate you coming back every single time to watch. Stay creative, come back for the next one, and here's my next video for you. I'll see you there real soon.
Hi everybody, it's Kathy here, and I am back with the kit and caboodle, the whole kit and caboodle that Ginger's Corner's running, and today I am building my 6 base pages from the kit.
Okay, this is the scary part. I find this bit intimidating because what if it's not right? What if it doesn't work? I don't know. But I'm going to give it a go. So I've got my packets that I'm going to pack my pages into. As I said, I'm going to put this one in the last video I said, and I'll put a link here above where you can watch the whole kit, where I'm going to put this in with the ephemera part, because I think that that's best for that. All right, I am going to put that over with the ephemera because I am going to fussy cut all of that, so that's going to go to the side. I am going to fussy cut one of those, all of that, so I'm going to put that to the side, and I am going to fussy cut one of those. I'm going to put that all to the side. So there, and then I am going to fussy cut one of those and put all of that to the side. All right, so having said that, that means I am now going to use the B sides on all of these. And I just am going to do that. So we're going to turn these over and we're going to use the B sides. Okay, so I'm doing that. And then I have A's and B's. Okay, so A's and B's. So I'm going to turn them so I can see A's and B's, because I want A's and B's. Right, I don't want all A's showing. I want an A and a B, A and a B. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's just scrumdiddlyumptious. Oof, already. A's and B's. All right, pull them all over first. Get all excited. A's and B's. All right, so I've got to come up with 6 page kits. Now what Ginger does, and I've watched her do one from the past, is she likes to give herself 3 sheets of pattern paper, some cardstock, and maybe like the wood grain in between. So I've got to come up with 6 page kits. Now in the page kits we may or may not use the papers in the page kit at the time of using, and if we don't, that then goes to the side and that becomes part of
the base pages we create later on. So you already saw that I fell in love with that immediately. Like there was that was that. It just came together. And then remember, I had all this wood grain that I thought I was going to bring in, and look at this. Isn't that just stunning? That just matches beautifully. Look, without even trying, it's like it was meant to be together. 1, 2, 3. That is just beautiful. I love that already without even trying very hard. I'm going to have a look here through some cardstock that I think, because I like to get some cardstock, and I'm thinking, no, I don't want light blue, but I do think, nope, it's not really, it's not the right color, is it? But that's calling to me. So I think I'm going to go a bit of pink into that. Yes, 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 yes. And I'm going to also throw in, because it's very important, I think I'm just going to throw in some white as well. Look at that. There you go. That's it. Page kit number 1. I'm not even going to think about it. That's it. 1, 2, 3. 3 pattern papers. 2 cardstocks. That's page kit number 1. Let's put it away. Oops. And I got these kits. Alright, page kit number 1. Love to know what's going to go on these pages. Don't know. Can't tell you right now, but I do know it's going to be awesome. Page kit number 1. Done. Okay. Let's move on. Let's have a look. Aren't they just stunning? Like, look at that. That's beautiful. Oh, look at that. It's just magic. Look, I do know I want to use that as a page. I do. I just know that that's got to go together. Or does it need to go with that? Because I am fussy cutting that. You can bet. I'm going to fussy cut that for sure. Then that gives me that and that. So I don't need to drag that in. That's cool. So I can fussy cut that. Do I want it on that or the browns? Oh my goodness, the choices. Too many. I don't want it on the dark brown. I don't want it on that. Oh, let's see. Thinking I'm liking the, although, I don't know, because I do like the gun, but if I fuzzy cut, they won't stand out. Nope. Go with your gut, Kath. Go with your gut. That one and that one. And let's see. There's a greeny pattern. No, wasn't there? There was. Oh, look at that. Perfect. There we go. We're going to go with that one. Look at that. The colours. Yes. Just love it. Perfect. All right. We're going to pull that to the side. Look at that. Just magic. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. I could go that way. It's got that. Oh, no. That definitely not the dark blue, but that. Yep. I've got that as well. Oh, got bits and pieces all over the place happening with that paper. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Leave that to the top because that's the magic. All right. But I need to now look at some cardstock. And I don't just want the greens. I'm going to go once again through the cardstock. And I did think there was some greys. That's a good colour. So I'm definitely going to give it a white. Definitely need some white. Don't want that blue. Or do I want that blue? Ooh. Thinking that blue. Thinking this blue, people. What do you think? This blue, maybe? Yes, that's picking up there. Just a look. Yeah, Aussie skies. Picks up the blue in there. Yep, that's it. Don't question it. 1, 3. There's another kit done. Done. Signed, sealed, delivered. 1, 2, 3. I love it. Beautiful. Perfect. Kit number 2. No questions asked. kit number 2. A bit of a stain on that. I might have to swap that out. Maybe. Depends. Might just use it for matting. Here we go. That's kit number 2. Alright. That's 2. 2 of 6. Done. Perfect. Put away. Alright. Let's go. We're doing a great job here. Not even... Oh, look at that. That's nice. Isn't it? That's just stunning. Wouldn't have to do much to that. So, I'm thinking that that one goes with that. Look at that. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. And that might, because that might just be a fussy cut. Who knows? That's going to go with that. And I don't think that needs much else. I just like that. I think I just like those two. And I'm thinking I need a peachy coloured. Peach coloured. So I'm looking for my other pile here. And I have another pile here. Better colours. Here we go. This is the colour I'm looking for. Yep. This is the colour pile. I'm thinking I'm going to drag in that peachy pinky colour there. Look, that matches perfectly. I know other people can't see it, but I can. It's an Australian colour. And that's just going to go in beautifully. 1, 2 and 3. I'm liking it very much. But I do think that it might need another colour. Is this the right colour? The right colour? No, that's too blue. What about this one? This might be it. Let's have a look at this one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yep. Yep. Those colours. I know people can't see it, but I can. Looking good. You wait. I love it. Because I've got that side. I've got that. Oh, yep. Scrumptious. Okay. That is kit number 3. I'm going to put that to the side. Alright, let's go back to our main papers. 3. Ooh, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 papers left to make 3. Look at that. Look at that. It's already coming together. 1, 2, and 3. And look. Oh, look at that. Don't even have to try. 1, 2, and 3. That's just beautiful. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Do I need some wood grain with this one, or do you think it's enough? You know, definitely this one. Look at that. There we go. It's like it's all made for each other. Perfect. Yep. Loving it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love that. It's so scrummy. Now I am actually going to throw in a buttercup yellow. Why, you say? Why? You wait and see. It will work. It will work. Trust me. Trust me. I know my colours. That's going to work stunning. It's just enough to give it a lift. So that's kit number 4, I think. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's kit number 4. Love, love, love. That's kit number 4. Now we've got 4 main ones left. So we've got to choose our colours wisely here. Ooh. 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 Yep. Look at that. Yep. Perfect. Definitely, because there's a double there that we can use if we need to. We've got that. Oh. Look at that. Stunning. Stunning. And I do like that thrown in with it. Don't you think? Because we've also got that rich brown. Do we want that? Yeah, that's definitely. Alright, that's it. So it's got a double side there too with the wood grain. That's the next kit. It's only got 2. I think I'm going to throw in some cardstock with that. I'm thinking I'm going to go with, let's have a look. Let's see what we're going to pop out. We've got that beautiful colour there. We've got that really rich colour. These are really rich Australian colours here, people. Really rich. No, not loving those colours. Not loving those. Let me have a look what I've got over here.
I'm not loving those colours. It's gotta be, let me see. I will know as soon as I see it, and I think I've just found it. Look. Yes. Look. Just magic. Yep. Picking up that. Goes in beautifully with that. Picks up those colours. There you go. There's my cardstock for that one. Now, all of these, I do say I could be throwing in black, and I could throw in white, or I could throw in craft, but I probably won't. I will just work with what I've got. Maybe white might make an appearance. There we go. And that means these two. I'm left with these two, which, you know, you're thinking, what is she going to do with that? But you know what? There's always the second sides. That's the best thing. Oh, look at those cutouts. Maybe they'll get a feature as well. Who knows? Who knows? But what am I colour? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Got two wood grains together. No, I don't think so. Don't think I will go with a wood grain for that. Or would I? Nope. I'm going to be good. I'm going to restrain. All right. So I didn't use all my wood grains, which is fine. I don't need to. But oh my gosh. Look at that. Maybe the Hessian's going there. Maybe the Hessian goes in that. Oh, definitely. I'm going to put it with that, even though I will probably use it for others. But it's definitely going to be on that one. All right, that's definitely going to get black. And I'm going to actually throw in some black for that one. So I'm going to put in a piece of black with that one. Definitely a piece of black. I think black needs to go. And I don't know that I'm not going to throw in a piece of tan if I've got some. Looking for that colour. Maybe a dark brown. No, I think a tan is more what I want. Tanny colour, tanny colour, tanny. It's off white. Oh, must. No, that's too dark. Oh dear. Let's go. Maybe I've got a tan, maybe I haven't. Maybe it's time to go shopping for cardstock. Oh, oops, spoke too soon. There we go. Got the colour that I wanted. Yep, that's perfect. That's working for me. Loving it. And I am putting the Hessian with this one, even though I probably will use it on others. Now, I'm just going to check back here. 2, 3. I do like that. Do I need another piece of cardstock with that? That is the question. That is the question to myself. Do I need another piece to go with that? And the short answer is, why not? As Ginger would say. Why not? Oh, that's a bit bent. That's all right. It'll be useful for me. So I'm going to throw in an extra one just for good measure. All right, so that's that kit. I need to put them away. Now I'm going to look at this one just to check that I've got everything right. I went with the butter yellow. I'm loving that, loving that, loving it. I don't need anything else in that kit. I'm happy with that kit. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, this is the one I was a little bit... Damn it. Do I want that? Do I want to add something? Maybe I want to add a brown. Maybe I need to bring some brown in. I think I need to bring brown into that. I really do. What do you think? Do I need some brown or do I need some grey? I'm not too sure. Not too sure, not too sure. Maybe some brown, but that's too reddy brown. That's not the right brown. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Have a look. It's so exciting, really. Going in blind, not knowing what's going. Oh, I'm gonna pull that. I'm gonna use that in one of them for sure. I like that. But is that the right colour? Nope, 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 nope. I really need to go shopping for some cardstock in the colours I need. Now, I'm going to... I'm not happy, as you can tell. Like, I know it needs something.
needs something, it needs something, it needs something. It's just a matter of getting the color it needs. And all my browns are the wrong browns. I've got reddy browns and I don't want reddy browns. I want a chocolatey, muddy brown, a rusty brown. Although, you know what? That one might work. Come back, where are you? That one might work. That might work. Yes, it will. That one. So I'm going to chuck that in there as well, because that might work nicely. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm thinking that's that one. Cool. All right. They're looking pretty cool. I'm pretty pleased with those. And as I said, I'm just going to go through. This one I was happy with. That one I was happy with. Right. So I'm ready to rock and roll. Although there was this one colour. And I'm just going to go back, because I think this colour really needs to come in here as well. Don't you think? Look. 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 Yes. With the yellow. Bringing out the colours. I'm thinking that's important. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to chuck it in and I either use it or I won't. Now I'm happy. I'm very happy. I'm a happy chappy now. Although it could really go in with that one, couldn't it? No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Stop second guessing. They're my kits. Pull them together. That's what we're doing. I am not looking at them. I am not second guessing them. I am just doing them. There's that kit. Another one done. Remember, not everything will get used on page. I might do what Ginger does, however. I may do sister companion pages, as she calls them. Companion pages, or these ones would be feature pages, and then there's the sister page where the other photos of that event might go. And I need to do that a bit more, because let's face it, I have so many photos, and recently I've just taken so many photos. So I'm going to put this kit away as well. Oh, sorry people, I'm being a bit awkward. See, somebody accused me of being, I think it was Ronna, who said I was very organised. Told you, I'm not that organised, Ronna. I'm a bit of a hot mess, really. And this one here, I'm going to pull together again. And that's going to go into there. And I just can't wait to get started now. This is exciting. And I'm going to need to go and pick photos. And that's going to be interesting, because that will be fun. Pull that down. And then I have this one here. And I'm just going to add that all to the original kit plastic, which I have put somewhere really safe. Yeah. It's all going to go into this bag, because I actually don't have a spare one of those pouches left. So that's all going to go into there, and that's going to be page kit number 6. Page kit number 1, page kit number 2, page kit number 3, page kit number 4. I've lost all my pages. Page kit number 5. And I do have number 6. I did. You saw me make it. And I have placed it. See? Ronna reckons I'm organised. I am a hot mess. A hot mess. And for the love of God, I cannot find it. Hang on. I'll be back. And I found it. There's number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages ready to go. Can't wait. Be back tomorrow with the very first layout. See you real soon. Thanks for watching. Happy scrapping until tomorrow when we do layout number 1. See you then. Hey everybody. everybody, it's Kathy here, and I'm playing along today with Baby Got Scraps. So I'm using up some of my scraps from my Scrapbook Fantasies creations, and I'm building a layout. So I am allowed to have a base page in the scraps. So I've got this Boho Beauty base as my layout structure. And that black frame I've had for a while sitting in a box, so that's a scrap, and I'm putting it together. All of the pieces that I've cut out on my Cricut have come from scraps as well, and I have mounted my photo on scraps, or matted my photo with a double amount of scraps. So you can see that I have cut these balloons on my Cricut using scrap cardstock that I've had laying around. I do want to give a nod to Helen Ding, who did an amazing layout recently with her photo and a giant balloon cutout die in the background, and that's what gave me the idea to try this one. So thank you, Helen, for your inspiration. I'm using this Boho Beauty leftover scrap of the wood frame, which is the reverse side of my base, and I'm using that as an anchor point on this layout. Now, this photo is of my daughter. We were in the city and we went into Maya, and they had this great Wicked display because Wicked is so big and being promoted everywhere, particularly just before Christmas. And so she was back to her old usual happy-go-lucky self, and when she was growing up, everywhere we went, she would love to throw these poses where she would kick her leg up and have the pose done. So it was nice to see she was being young and youthful again, and so I took that photo, and this is the layout that I'm creating for it. So I'm just going to add some smooching here. I was looking for my water spray bottle, but I'm not sure where it is at the moment, so I've just gone the old way and got my watercolor palette water and just added a few drops to lighten up that moss coloured, I think it's called, I can't even remember the name of it, I have to look it up, and it was the one that I used to smooch across here and put some shading into the background of this layout to create a focal point for my photos. It's actually, I can't even find out what the name is, that's so bad. Anyway, I've got it here somewhere in the stack of ink sitting on my desk, and I will find it and I will put the name down below. And I'm just smooching it in behind the balloons there just to create a shadowing effect, to give it a glow, because I want it to glow a little bit like magic, like Wizard of Oz itself. That's always the great effect you can have when you're doing these sorts of layouts, and you can want to build some interest to the actual flat layout. You can build it up by adding that ink styling. So I'm just laying out the balloons where I want them to lay. I have chosen the colours of Galinda and Alphaba, pink and the green, of course, because they are classic Wicked colours, and they marry beautifully with this paper range, and I'm glad that that's lifting those balloons up off that page just enough to give it a point of interest. So I'm just going to layer the last of these in and put them into place so that I can start constructing this layout. I did go into my design space on Cricut and just search for hot air balloons, and I was able to just get these ones. I backed the 3 with scrap leftovers. The one with the flowers, I've used the pink and I've used a darker green to give it the 2 different shades through the layout. That darker green is also the same colour that I've used to match the photo on the second level. So I'm tying all of those colours together and making the links so that they not stand alone but actually blend and complement each other nicely. Alright, so I'm just using some foam tape just to pop up some of them. I don't want them all to be popped up, I just want some. That allows for the interest off the page, adding dimension and shadows. And I know what that ink is. It's pine needles. Sorry about that. Couldn't even work out what it was. So it's pine needles. That's the one that I've used, at the Stress Oxide. I cut out the title as well on Feeling Wicked, which I have put through my Xyron sticker maker. That makes it so much easier when you're using pieces and putting them together. I have used leftover pieces, as I said, from my boho collection, Boho Beauty. The vellum leaves are leftovers from a vellum sheet. These flowers I've cut out from a scrap leftover sheet, and so I've been able to build those up, and they're just scraps that are sitting in the pile, and this is a great way of using them up. I like the fact that I could fussy cut them and put them onto this layout as well and stretch that stash. It's a good way about looking at your scraps and thinking, how else can I use them? I fell in love with them once, I'm going to use them again on a layout and give them a new life. I'm really sorry about my throat, guys. It just keeps popping in and out as good. It dries out and then it gets worse. So I'm on the mend, but hopefully there won't be too many more videos before I'm back to normal. All right, I'm using this gold shimmer pen that I got from Uniquely Creative, and I'm just colouring in the darker greens here to give it a gold shimmer effect when it dries, and that allows that little sparkle for the magic of Wicked, and it's just easy to apply. The brush is actually quite wet, which is nice, and the glimmer is a little shimmer. You can't see it too well on this video, but it does actually do a sparkle. I just added in some shimmers there into the center of those flowers to add more glitter to the page. Using my white gel pen now, I'm just adding some highlights to the black on the balloons so that they have a 3D effect, and I lift it up off that background a little bit further. Now, I'm not very good at scattering sequins, sorry, mental block. Not very good at scattering the sequins. There are some people who are really, really clever at it, and it is something that I want to develop further. But at the moment, I've just put in my dots of glue so that I have little sprinklings of 3 in spots around the layout. Instead of using Nuvo drops, this time I chose to use the sequins in the shades of the pinks. And you can just see how that is adding that little bit of extra interest to the layout and a little bit of sparkle. So it's a pretty simple layout. It did use up a lot of scraps, which was really, really helpful. I like the fact that I can go back and use my scraps and clear them out. Better used on a layout than in the recycling bin or handing off. These are just different ways that you can put your scraps together to create a new and dynamic layout. So to finish it off, I'm just going to cover up my photo here, and I'm going to add some black splatters using the Distress ink spray from Dilutions, and I'm just putting that in a few spots around the layout, not too much, not to overpower it, but to just add a little bit of interest and fill in that mixed media background type effect on this layout. So I'm glad that you stayed through to watch this video. I'm hoping that there's something here that inspires you to get out your mixed media, your scraps, and create a layout that represents a special moment for you and your family. Remember, there is a full playlist down below. You can see here how that has all layered up and come together. As I said, all of this is scrap. The only thing that's not is that base page. The rest is all come from leftovers that I've used and have sitting in my pile. More gone out of my stash, back onto a layout, another page in my album. And I really am impressed with how this turned out. And thanks again, Helen Ding, for your inspiration. I really am grateful for having watched your video and seeing your balloon take on Wicked. So that's where the idea came from. Thank you very much for watching. Happy scrapping till next time, and here's my next video recommendation for you. Don't forget to use those scraps.
And that brings 2025 to a close. What a great year. Were they some of the ones that you remembered? Were they the ones that you voted as the most popular? Or did you spend the time watching? Let me know in the comments down below which one really captured your creativity and really set your inspiration off. I'd really like to know. Let me know of things that I can do for you, things that I can show you as we move into 2026. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you who shows up every single week, then crafts along with me and shares this love of memory keeping. Looking back at these videos reminded me that this channel isn't just about paper and glue. It's about community, it's about creativity, and it's about preserving the moments that matter the most in our lives. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and remember, if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss any of the creativity that's coming up in 2026. There's a lot of different hops, there's a lot of creative moments, there'll be lots of laughter, I'm sure, and plenty of bloopers for sure. But please join me in 2026. Thank you once again for being a loyal and a great audience. I do appreciate each and every single one of you, and let's get going. Happy scrapping. Thanks again. You have made 2025 amazing, and let's take care as we move into 2026. Keep creating, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.